If you've been to the Landmark Center in downtown St. Paul, you may have seen this remarkable prehistoric skeleton.
This is the prehistoric horse Mesohippus. It roamed North America in about 25 million years ago and gradually went extinct. At this point in the horse's evolution, it had 3 hoofs on each leg.
None of that is true, and the plaque on the wall clearly identifies it as an imagined fossil.
People assume that it's true. Somebody sees a prehistoric skeleton and nothing else matters. They're going for it.
Prehistoric mammals, imagined fossils, and tribal masks, all stemming from the imagination of artist Michael Bahl. Michael has built a body of work that plays on the notion of prehistoric artifacts. And as the expert of this world, he is known as a paleo-osteological interpreter.
Because I think all art is interpretation. And as an interpreter, I could interpret life. And no one could tell me I was wrong.
Michael spends hours in his South St. Paul home studio working on his creatures, making sure they're rooted in paleontology.
I think everybody, at some point in their life, had a fascination for prehistoric skeletons. This is the griffin. It's a mythological creature dating back at least 5,000 years to ancient Mesopotamia. Nobody can say this animal never existed or that it couldn't have existed because I was so careful to incorporate the science with the art. When I was making the griffin, I went to the University of Minnesota bone collections, and I was allowed to study actual eagle skeletons so that I could reproduce the flight mechanism. I didn't want people to think you could just stick a pair of wings on an animal and it would fly. That's not how science works. I wanted all my creatures to have an integrity within their universe.
Another piece of Michael's can be found at the Union Depot train station.
This piece is the dream of the Great Northern Railway. It depicts 2 figures that I created. First, the Pherohippus, the larger creature. This smaller figure is an ancestor of the Rocky Mountain goat, which is the symbol of the Great Northern Railway. Many times when I've been here and people are reading the story, I'll introduce myself as the artist, and they'll give me kind of a troubled look. What do you mean, artist? This is a real fossil, I just read about it. And he would refer to the documentation that I had made up as proof of how he felt about it. No, that's real, it says so right there. I said, well, thank you for the compliment, but this is not real. They would get angry at me and walk off as if I was teasing them somehow or setting them up. But I never tried to deceive anyone into thinking they were real. I wanted them to appreciate that this was all my imagination.